Yeah, right.
Big country, Australia, and we can't quite get there quickly enough to get hold of one.
We've done well to get two then.
So Josh Gibson there, starting on Nick Revolt. Both those boys with the GPS, so I'm looking forward to keeping an eye on that tonight.
Umpires tonight, Matthew James, Damien Sully and Shane McInerney.
The difference between these two teams on the ladder is Brad Johnson's missed shot after the siren in round 9. If that had gone through, the Saints would currently be in the 8. Tonight they play for a spot that's currently held by Carlton, and the Kangaroos will make the first forward movement as Simpson gives to Gibson. Kick smothered off the boot. Graham and King, and now Harvey in game 372. The typical Kangaroo pressure being applied. And Campbell, one of that tandem of small men up forward, puts it in a good spot for the Kangas. But the St Kilda defence closes in.
See David Hale there started forward. His matchup looks as though it was Sam Fisher. They're going to try and stretch the St Kilda defence. He's been in really good form, David Hale. His contested marking took 6 last week against the Hawks.
Deep in the Kangaroos' attacking territory. Montagna's over the football. He's tackled by Hale. Not going to come out of there, so the umpire will be forced to bounce again. There's Ross Lyon, coach of St Kilda.
And they've already signalled also what St Kilda are prepared to do deep in their defensive area. There's some 2 or 3 free North Melbourne players outside of this region.
Tapped into the goal square for the Kangaroos. Hutchton doesn't concede. Gives the handball to Goddard, who does. So first score of the game is a rush behind to North Melbourne.
I'm interested to see how this game is going to pan out from a game style point of view, whether Ross Lyon decides to be able to put Sam Fisher free. As you mentioned, Darcy's gone with Hale, so that'll be a little hard to do, and maybe one of the reasons why he is down there to prevent that, because he provides so much good run from deep in defence.
Saints work it calmly. Hutchton to Dempster. And now to Stephen King. To Graham and Dempster again. A revolt that has been picked up by Gibson, the 2 GPS wearing players. Revolt as usual covering a lot of ground, working up to the wings and sometimes beyond. Jason Graham didn't go for full distance, a bit strong for Charlie Gardner. Koschitzky, Revolt, Luke Ball, nowhere to go. Has to retreat, and it's Gardner again. St Kilda as ever, patient. This is Eddie, who acquitted himself well on debut against Fremantle 8 nights ago, but he kicks straight to Petrie. Important player for the Kangas this year. Important that he get out of trouble here. Watt and Grant. Revolt doesn't come at him. Now it's Ferrito. Goes for territory and goes for Harding. Graham with him. Good match up that. That was a hold, surely. That'll be a free kick to Graham.
Lee Harding did a very good, there he is on screen, did a very good role last week on Clinton Young as a tagging option. I think he will stick very closely to Jason Graham tonight. See if he can restrict Jason Graham's output.
Graham goes short and backwards to Sam Fisher, one of the real playmakers in the Saints team, averaging 22 disposals and 8 marks a game this year. He kicks it to Hutchton. To the wing. So slowly but surely so far in this game. Both teams just settling in. Robert Harvey has the football. Not much of a crowd here tonight, unfortunately. Beautiful night. Harvey kicks in the Revolt direction, off hands, throw in.
Now the one thing you can also get caught on this ground is wide a lot. It is a very, very long ground, and the holes do open out wide. The temptation is to go there when the holes are there. Sometimes you've got to go a little straighter though.
Graham with pace, a couple of bounces. And handballs to Ball. Gives it back to Jones. Kicks, good kick too it was. In fact, Koschitzky or Revolt could have easily taken that mark. Koschitzky put his hand up, and Koschitzky will kick from only 45 metres out at worst on a slight angle.
Well, I'm looking forward to this bloke and the way he plays tonight, because he's absolutely critical, Darcy, isn't he, to St Kilda? He elevates them to another level, doesn't he?
Love to see him settle down in the one spot. If he's going to play forward, leave him there for 4 quarters and let him see if he can have a big impact on the contest.
Converting at 68% this year, 19 goals, 9. And that percentage has just got down a little bit after that kick, so 1 point apiece.
he is a fantastic, just to carry on with that, when he goes with his eyes on it, we know that he keeps his eye on the ball. He's truly courageous and just can inspire people around him when he attacks the ball in that manner.
It's Petrie again. The Kangaroos, the great travellers of this competition, and yet have won only one of their last 5 on the road.
Top of the arm.
An arm shot. So it's a Kangaroo free kick. Daniel Wells to take it behind the wing.
Thank you.
Umpire James was going to give a 50 until he realised it was Corey Jones throwing the ball back.
Rawlings. And now Grant.
John. Thank you.
St Kilda have played at Carrara 3 times back in the Brisbane Bears days for a win and a couple of losses, but Robert Harvey would be the only one of this lot who was a part of any of those.
He is the only one, Tim.
Hanson giving to Simpson. Saints back in numbers, and Simpson is going to hold things up and wait for the opening to come. Work it around. Power. Gibson. Harvey applying the pressure. Grantle's a half volley. Dempster's got him. Ferrito working it out. Gibson. Power. Rawlings. What? But it's a reverse progress here. Hanson, and still they go back. Now Wells pokes the Kangaroos forward, and it's Pratt.
Bangs it on the left, quickly, inside 50, push out, should be a St Kilda free it is, and it's going to go to Gilbert. Or in fact, it could be Blake.
Well, as I mentioned, I was wondering as we see the fly there, how this game is going to be played. It's certainly been set up in a very interesting manner so far. Not a lot of fluency through the middle of the ground, which is affecting the attacking options.
And look at that space, Fossey, as we pan left to right. That's the St Kilda forward line heading down now into the back pocket where the footy is. Plenty of St Kilda numbers pressing up. A la Sydney, they like to press up and give a help out to their defence.
Power soccers off the ground, only as far as King to Goddard. It is a very unattractive game at the moment. It's a free kick going to King off the ball for a tackle.
So as that shot showed, there's a huge amount of numbers. I mean, Justin Kaczynski's sitting one out in the forward line. He has got the whole half of the ground to himself at the moment. Huge amount of numbers looking at Brendan Goddard and the free kick to Stephen King. So they now need to spread and run really hard and take advantage of their space behind here, St Kilda.
King to Harvey. Little short one to Clinton Jones. Goes out wide to Hudgton. The lead's on here from Eddie. Hudgton ignores him. What's on offer? Not much. No, it gives it to Dempster, the King to Harvey. Back to Hudgton. Almost fumbled it. Now he does. Look out, Maxi. Just gets the kick away to Gwilt. You have a go, Tim. It could be a very long night here at Carrara.
It's just got that feel about it at the moment. But,
forwards and backs, you're making better ground.
each is going to dwell on the other's mistakes. This is Eddie kicking to a contest, but placing it well for Fisher. Montagna, and that's a good placement. Revolt and Milne both there. And Milne, as he loves to do, tricking the defence, playing on but missing. He is better though on the run than he is from the set shot. Coach not greatly impressed though.
No, there's Ross Lyon. I mean, he is, Tim, no doubt about that, but when you get a chance for a set shot, you take it. He could carry the distance. Don't understand why he played on in that situation, but that is what St Kilda want to do. If they've got this space in their forward line, they need to use it.
Kick-in's marked by Watt. He gives it off to Pratt. Oh, he's run down by Del Santo. Messi. Throwing.
And that'll make Nick Del Santo very happy to run someone down from behind, lay a tackle early. That's what his coach and his teammates want from him. Good stuff.
Petrie works his way to the front. King got the tap though, but was intercepted cleverly by Wells. Dishes to Harvey, keeps the ball alive. Jones being harassed and has got the free kick for a hold.
That's just a little thing. They're probably after Del Santo to do that more, maybe. But one player went over and sort of said, well done.
Yeah.
You'd like a little bit more encouragement, wouldn't you?
Harvey to Hanson. Now Urquhart. Back to Ferrito. He chips out wide in between wing and half forward. It's marked by Jones. Got a couple of runners in support. He gives it to Hanson. He gives it off to Pratt, who goes into the pocket. Well, that was pretty well worked by the Kangaroos, and eventually the mark's taken by Campbell.
Really underrated forward line, this North Melbourne forward line. They've added so much to it. Matt Campbell on screen and Lindsay Thomas. Very, very effective when they go inside 50.
21 goals, 6, converting at 78%. Favours his left side. Just a point. Score ticking along nicely, 2 behinds each.
There's always a danger, Quarters.
Goddard goes long here. That's a good play, and it finds Gardner, but it's taken from him by Harvey. And Petrie's arriving hard at the back and recovering well for Harris. Thompson, the hand pass hanging in the air though for a fraction of a second too long. And there'll be a throw-in for the Kangaroos deep in attack.
There's something about a tackle when you smash a bloke.
There's a beauty.
Look at this. Bang! Clock that. I love those tackles.
King with the front posse, down to Jones. Can't escape. Wells, Rawlings, and now Grant. The left footer swinging it back, but not enough. Kangaroos with their noses in front. It is point for point in the early stages on the Gold Coast.
Del Santo to do the kicking in, and it just comes off. Dempster takes the sliding mark. There's a short one to Fisher. And in turn he finds Lee Montagna. So Montagna at half-back. Another leader's on. Presenting as Gardner, and he takes the mark. Slightly defensive side of the wing. He goes inboard to Gwilt.
I would have thought there hasn't been a lot of contested balls so far. A lot of uncontested marks. Not a lot of contested ball situations going on at the moment.
Gwilt to Hutchinson. He'll pop it over the top here to Blake. Kangaroos have got a wall across half-back, so there's just absolutely nothing on offer. He kicks to Kazitsky. Gibson does the spoiling. Staying down was Rawlings. Handballs to Urquhart. Back to Rawlings. He gives it to Gibson. Not a great handball. Gibson has the strength to break the Kazitsky tackle. Now what's Josh going to do? He goes for a bit of a trot. Pops it over the top. To Watt, who gives it to Wells. Wells kicks it inside 50. Thompson's got to beat a couple, and it's a push in the back, hands in the back. Pretty soft one, but I guess technically it was there. And there's a free kick going to Nathan Thompson.
One of those interpretations we were speaking about, Tim, that seems to have fluctuated as the season's gone on. I've seen a lot worse than that not paid a free kick in the latter part of the second half of this season. Thought that was a reasonably soft one.
Flashes in and out of the frame, doesn't it?
24-9 from set shots this season for Nathan Thompson. 4 times leading goal kicker for the Roos and the Hawks. It's into the goal square, off hands, rush behind.
Well, we've had more than half a quarter.
Kangaroos have doubled St Kilda's score, Tim.
Just having a look at that replay there. I mean, that's just the slightest touch, isn't it?
Big man Thompson, though, and he did get rid of him, I guess. I think the umpire probably had a long look at it before deciding to blow the whistle. Now, here's Jones on the breakaway for the Saints. Keeping it very wide. Gibson takes it wider. So there will be a throw-in. We've had more than half a quarter of football. What we don't have are any goals or any records.
There's Shannon Watt on Nick Revolt. It's the third matchup that he's had. Ferrito's taken him for a little bit. Watt's taken him, and also Gibson. It looks as though they're going to rotate and give everyone a crack at him because he's aerobic capacity. Here he is now.
Harvey giving it to Revolt. He had time, and he missed. And that was one that should have been kicked. Opportunities like that must be seized.
Oh, yeah, that's been the issue, hasn't it, with Nick Revolt? But it looks as though they're going to say, we don't think any one player can actually run with him for the whole game, so we're going to rotate and give 3 different opponents a go at him.
The sales department's getting very nervous, Tim. No ads so far.
What about Andrew Demetriou, who wants to set up a team here? It's not a hard sell, is it?
Grant to half forward, looking for Harding, and we'll have a throw in. So past the halfway mark of the first quarter. Huge game for these teams. The winner back in the 8 tonight. And it is the Kangaroos 4 behind, St Kilda 3.
Alan Obbs playing his third game, getting ready to come on for the Kangas.
Throw in. Ball caught a little bit high. Yep, and that's the way the umpire saw it. Again, Simpson, so Ball's got the free kick just inside his own defensive 50. Luke Ball, number 1 in the competition for freeze 4, and there's another one to the stat sheet. Very fair footballer.
Just so many players in this mid part of the ground court.
That's where the game's being played.
Well, that's a shocking kick from Ball. Straight down the throw to Petrie. Harvey kicks for goal. Praise the Lord.
I'm almost speechless. Quarters.
Goal of the day.
Well, it took an absolute clanger kick, didn't it, to set up the opportunity. Luke Ball, normally reliable on that part of the ground, but he had to get something going. Someone had to change direction and get the footy in the corridor, because it could have been a 0-0 draw if it kept going the way it was looking.
As we see that goal, Harvey's kicked it. And Darcy, you nailed it just before that goal was kicked. This game is being played in the midfield. The congestion is there. The forwards from both teams are playing in the middle of the ground. So it's creating this huge congestion through the middle of the ground, which is stopping the fluency of this game.
Here's Del Santo, had the confidence to have the little peak, run a bit, but what? And that's a 50-metre penalty. Just a little tug on the jumper. Revolt disappointed, feeling he'd been pushed out. There he is, lurching forward. And just a little hold. Jeez, it's a big penalty for a minor infraction. Watt to Wells. Good ball. Oh, good grab. Petrie within range.
He's had a great year, Drew Petrie, at both ends of the ground. Been sent back when they've been in trouble, and when he goes forward, he is a much improved player. And that was a really strong pack mark over the top of Jason Blake. There's Nick Revolt on screen. It's a harsh penalty, isn't it, just for a fingernail on the jumper. We do know the rule, but 50 metres is a massive price to pay.
Drew Petrie, become a really important player for the Kangas this year, and it's a good kick. And that's a handy break now with 2 quick goals.
That shot at goal was set up from a fantastic mark in the first place from Shannon Watt. There was the mark over Nick Revolt. Just judged the flight of the footy better. That is technically a 50-metre penalty, but I'm not sure that that is necessarily what we want in the game, 50 metres for something like that. But in the end, the result was a goal to Drew Petrie, and he's a hard matchup for anyone.
So here was the 50, just a slight tug on the jumper, and Nick knew he'd done wrong. Very technical, but that's the rule. And subsequently, Kangaroos, through a great mark from Drew Petrie, got their second. Now here's another turnover. Campbell to Rawlings, back to Campbell on the left boot. Oh, Hale's all by himself. And the boy from the Gold Coast can go back and all of a sudden give the Kangaroos a very healthy lead.
He's not a bad shot for goal either, David Hale. Of course, Tasmanian bred, Quarters. Find a champion Tasmanian rower.
Can find the link anywhere, can't you, Tim?
A nice shiner too from last week. Played his footy with Broadbeach, which is just down the road. Kicked 12 goals, 8 this season. His conversion rate is 60%. This is going to be a really handy one for the Roos. It's a good-looking kick. And now it's the Kangaroos with a very handy 19-point buffer.
Well, the one advantage that the Kangaroos do have coming into this game is that they've played at this venue a few times now and St Kilda haven't. So they're more familiar with the surroundings, the ground type. And at the moment, they're just getting that score on the board. All of a sudden, we're getting a score in the last 2 or 3 minutes and kicked 3 goals.
David Hale, a very good shot for goal, and was given plenty of advice on how to go about it on this occasion.
Typical redhead, mate.
Little local knowledge, it all helps, Vossi. Kangaroos have strung 3 together. St Kilda in some trouble here. They're not a free-scoring side, and they've got some pegging back to do. Kuzitsky came away with that one with some other players still in there scrapping for a ball that had disappeared. Allen there for the Saints, getting his hands onto it, now in a tug-of-war, and Gibson wins the tug-of-war and comes away with the prize, but it's all St Kilda at the drop, or it was.
Great contest.
Lachlan Hansen arriving hard. Graham, Harvey, Revolt. He'll be hurting. He missed himself a moment ago and then paved the way for a Kangaroo goal. Kanga's defence has it covered. Brent Harvey, Gibson having a say in it early. And it's Boomer Harvey again. The perpetual motion man off to Simpson. And this is Power playing his 97th game tonight, most of them with the Bulldogs. Harvey again racking up the possessions. Now this is Obbs, who we saw ready to come off the interchange bench a couple of minutes ago. There's a push in the back, and it's another Kangaroo free kick.
Push in the back.
The old-fashioned virtue playing in front is coming to the fore.
It's an interesting matchup, that Jason Blake on Corey Jones. He's a good runner, Blake, but tough opponent, Corey Jones.
Long and high, inside 50. Hale works his way to the front. There's a couple of Kangaroos ready to pounce. One of them is Thomas. He squares it up. It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. Pouncing is Campbell. Kangaroos get their 4th. Then he gives it to Nick Revolt. In fairness to Revolt, it was one of those real difficult scrubby kicks he had to control. He couldn't quite do it, and Campbell just bolted past, grabbed the footy and nailed the 4th, and real trouble now for St Kilda.
Yeah, to be true to Root, it was a very tough ball to be able to get and try and take cleanly. I think the fact that he just fell over was the thing that hurt the most.
There's Nick Revolt on screen. He's just having one of those nights so far. There's his first contest, and that was a free kick to Josh Gibson, but we just going to the break before, it was a spilled ball by Revolt. He gave away a 50-metre penalty. He's just had a shocker in the first quarter. There's no other way to describe it. He's there on centre wing though, so he gets a chance to amend it.
This is looking bad for St Kilda. Kuzitsky thumps them forward again, and he's been pretty good so far. Allen almost held on. It was a good effort, but again it's Gibson to Obst, and Pratt coolly drew the tacklers and gives it back to Gibson, who's chalked up 9 disposals by the time he gets rid of this. That's a messy one. Sam Fisher attacking it. Goddard, you can't afford that fumble.
You called it absolutely beautifully called there, Tim. And here it is. There's another fumble. It's critical. Look, he fell over, and you don't expect to take it clean all the time. It was a difficult ball, but the thing that hurt the most was he went to ground.
Oh, beautifully rode by Simpson, who evades the tackle of Eddie. Back to Gibson, who's got to use the ball better this time. And that's a very clever kick, well played. Got it out wide to Riggio, who goes back inboard. And the mark's taken by the improving Hansen. Played his best game for the club last week against Hawthorn.
And quarters, we saw vision before of him crash the pack. Just his attack on the foot, he turned it over there, but on the outer wing when he had to go, he flew at the ball, which is exactly what Dean Laidlaw would be asking for him to do.
Mark taken by Armitage. He goes into the corridor and finds Fisher. Now Revolt's working really hard. He's made some space on the outer wing, and he receives now. Kicks to Eddie Gibson, quick. Well done by Josh Gibson. Just quick closing pace and knocked it over the line.
I like the move of starting Nick Revolt on centre wing. It hasn't been a great first quarter for him, but rather than keeping down the goal square out of the action, get him amongst the play, and there he is involved again.
Kangaroos have it covered on the defensive side. Wells to Grant. Keeps it wide. Hansen from behind. Made sure nobody in front was going to mark it. So there'll be a throw in beneath a big sign hanging from the grandstand saying bring back Bursey, number 22. Not in the Saints 22 tonight. Kangaroos doing almost all the attacking in this opening quarter. Here's Del Santo. Started on the bench, couple of possessions. Now Gwilt. Got a bit of dash about him. Allen. Good pressure on Dempster. Support coming from Armitage. Now Eddie. Centering ball, but to not very much at all. And Petrie with Ferrito there riding shotgun. Well, he had options down that wing, but he just didn't hit them. And it's Del Santo to Montagna, and the Saints can build. They desperately need a goal, but they don't look like kicking one. This is Gilbert. And they'll have to work it patiently again. Patience can be a virtue, but at times it can be overplayed, and teams just never find the way home. And that's the sort of footy St Kilda are playing.
Now Blake thumps it back inside 50 for St Kilda. 3 Kangaroos contest that one. Milne stays down, does the roving, keeps it alive, looking for Kaczynski, not quite well done, Petrie. Got it to Hale.
Hit the ground.
To Harvey on the half volley. To Harris. Over the top. Kangaroos lose control. Snared by Hutchton to Montagna. To Blake. To Gwilt. Back to Blake, all by hand. Now back to Gwilt. What can he do with it? Has a look upfield, and again he just pumps it long, but just blazed away to a couple of Kangaroos, and that's not going to get the job done for you. The mark taken by Hale.
St Kilda forward structure is a real worry. I mean, it's great having Nick Revolt up at centre wing because it keeps him in the play, but their structure going forward is non-existent at the moment. Kaczynski's down there, he's pushing out of the contest. Milne's pushed up the ground. They just haven't got a forward structure to go to at the moment.
They're all up the midfield at the moment. Well, not quite midfield, but they're sitting around that centre half forward area. There's nothing really inside 50 for them to go to at the present time.
Well, it's early days, but it is the type of performance that will have St Kilda fans feeling rather restless. This has been a very ordinary opening quarter. Harris takes it wide. Good pair of hands, though. Good grab by Harvey. What a pro he is. Kicked the first goal, snapped the game out of its lethargy, and the Kangaroos in no time at all had 4 and have opened plenty of space between them and the Saints. Kaczynski flying high and hard. No result. Push in the back. It's going to be Kangaroos ball again. No, it's not. It's going to Goddard. Late in the quarter, St Kilda with under half a minute, still with nothing to show for this opening term of effort. And it doesn't look as if they're going to have anything to show for it because they're going via the Cape.
To Maxie Hutchton, who kicks to half-back and finds Dempster. Last 10 seconds of the first quarter, it's not going to be enough for Saints to whisk it down and kick a goal. Dempster. No. So that is the end of the first quarter. North Melbourne 4-4. 28 leads St Kilda, 3 behinds by 25 points, Luke Darcy.
Well, quarters, it was a fairly ugly first quarter effort from the Saints. They made some mistakes. They didn't get any free going with Kaczynski and Revolt. And we were talking at quarter time about how stop-start this has been. Wouldn't you love to see some free-flowing play? They are 2 gun forwards. Get the footy in there as much as you can. I'm sure Ross Lyon said that at quarter time.
So the Saints are staring at a 25-point deficit. They've got to start showing some initiative. Luke Ball does, but in their path is Urquhart, young Queenslander who's been impressive in his debut season. Pratt to Gibson, who's been shining in the back half. Disposal number 12 is good. To the leader, Simpson, who's looking inside, decides he's going to go forward. Gilbert cutting across in front of Obbs, who got into the back of Eddie. Eddie everywhere for the Saints. Goddard. Again, it's stop-start. He goes for Revolt, who went tumbling out of the contest, but in fact tumbled into the ball. What was his opponent that time? Well, Milne, no hope in the aerial contest. 2 against him, both much bigger. Rawlings, Harris, a star last week, a motivator, and what a very good left foot delivery that was.
Mark taken by Shannon Grant. Little short one to Wells.
Talking about blokes getting the ball. This man's had a very good opening quarter, moving very smoothly as we know he can.
He's a real glider, isn't he?
Oh, he's beautiful. You love watching him.
Glides along the turf. And his kick finds a man who's also having an excellent game in Drew Petrie. St Kilda got a few numbers back, so Petrie decides to handle the Wells, who just pops it up. Thompson has a run at it, so does Jones. Big contested pack wanted there, but none forthcoming. Falls to ground Milne. So the Saints clear, and it's marked just inside defensive 50 by Ball. Luke Ball goes back into the corridor. And it's marked by Fisher, who's caught, but got the handball away. To Eddie. To the wing. This is Gilbert. Back to Fisher. He's caught. And holding the ball. Free kick going to the Kangaroos.
That's come unstuck, but it looks as though they're being a bit bolder now. At least they tried something. They tried to play on. They tried a handball. I think the message has got through. You've got to take a risk to score. And like North Melbourne did. Plays on.
Kangaroos dangerous here. The 50's open, and Campbell at the second bite. Outpoints Dempster and can line them up from 30.
It's just two contrasting styles, isn't it? When North Melbourne had the footy then, Boomer Harvey's instinct was straight away to play on, back in the corridor, reel and go. It's not natural to St Kilda. Something happens when Brent Harvey gets the footy because he always plays on in the corridor.
Campbell, one of the Kangaroos' 4-goal kickers in the opening quarter. Very kickable shot here, and he puts it right through the middle. And it's the Kangaroos by 31 points.
Yeah, and this is the critical one. Boomer goes back inside. That's the critical play. Just to be able to have those players that straighten you up. There are some players that do straighten you up nicely, and Harvey's certainly one of those players for the Kangaroos. And they get the one-on-one contest, which St Kilda haven't been able to generate as well at the other end.
North Melbourne by 31. Matt Campbell's kicked a couple.
Yeah, it's now looking, if it wasn't looking dangerous before, it's now looking really, really dangerous for the Saints.
King slaps it towards goal, but not for long. Shark by Simpson. Got it to Wells. Kicks to Petrie. He's off.
Yes, mate.
Over to Hansen, who kicks to the 50. No mark to Dempster. Campbell almost managed to paddle himself out of trouble and have a run at goal, but not quite. King to Montagna. To Ball. Back to Montagna.
Oh, he's gone too far.
And that just about sums up St Kilda's night so far. So a free kick going to the Kangaroos' way at half forward.
At the moment they take him on, they get penalised. What are they doing, umpire?
At least he was trying something, wasn't he? He showed a bit of initiative, and it's heartbreaking, really, that the moment he does, he gets himself into strife. And the Kangaroos are cutting holes now in St Kilda's defence. Harvey will line them up.
It's a massive contrast in effort in the second quarter in terms of what we're speaking about. Everyone's trying to take a risk now for St Kilda. Here we see Lee Montagna just go one or two steps too far, but you can see the instructions from Ross Lyon really clearly. I want you to play on, I want you to take a risk, but their confidence is down, and there's some turnovers creeping in as well.
16 steps we counted. Lee Montagna took. Here is Harvey, who kicked the first goal of the night. He now just misses. It's a behind. But this is looking quite horrid for St Kilda at the moment. Ross Lyon agitated at quarter time, which was in contrast to the look in the faces of the St Kilda players. There's a deadness about them both in facial appearance, Vossi, and the way they're playing.
Yeah, they just... Look, let's hope it changes. The emotion that changes throughout the course of the game when they get that little bit of roll on, but they just don't look like they've got any life. Nick D'Alessano did a wonderful chase. There was just no emotion. There was no one came over and said, well done, mate. Great to have you back in the team. That's exactly what we needed you to do. It's just nothing. Needs to change quick.
Goddard to Dempster. It's chopped off by Thompson to Harris. There's no one inside 50, either defenders or offenders. So Grant just holds it up. Now they get back, and that was a big ask there for young Matt Campbell to beat a couple of tall Saints. He was unable to do so. So Hudson marks deep in defence. A little short one to Graham. Now he kicks to Blake. He's got Fisher on. If you can see him, he ignores him and goes back to Montagna to Graham. Almost ran into Simpson. Now kicks out wide. Getting there first is Gardner.
Move forward. You've got to move forward. Create something.
Kicks towards Kazitsky. Grant did well. Got back. Tackled by Jones. Now Gavin Urquhart. Roland Kangaroos got themselves out of a difficult situation as Pratt kicks it long to the wing. Harvey got rid of his opponent with strength. And he's away. He can run about 40 here. He's got 2 one-on-one situations facing him. He just scrubs it inside 50. That was probably the worst decision. Anyway, we'll cut him some slack, Brent Harvey, because he's having an excellent game. But on that occasion, the Kangaroos just lost an opportunity as Saints bring it to the wing.
So, take 2. Gardner again, and this time he does plough forward. And he has Robert Harvey wide, and he misses him. Harvey was all on his own. And Gardner just failed to hit the target.
Fantastic body work. He might be small, but he packs a mean punch.
We know what you mean, Vossi.
Yep.
King and Petrie, and there'll be another throw in.
You could just see the frustration on Robert Harvey before, Tim. He'd run really hard from the centre of the ground. He was out by 10 metres, and the kick was a basic kick that just missed the mark, and very rarely you see his frustration, but it was there.
Thank goodness Wolsey's not here with that short throw-in. Poor old boundary umpire would have been handing in his bucket and spade by the end of the night. Here goes Wells. This is the way to play this game. Kangaroos driving forward. Nathan Thompson from a long way sits it up. There was only one man down, Campbell, but it just eluded him. Another behind.
Well, I think Petrie had the right idea. He tried to tap it over the back, didn't he? But it just didn't quite come off.
It's almost as though the St Kilda players can only play one style. The first quarter was about accountability, and they were doing that okay, but they weren't scoring. Now they've been told to play on and take risks. They're actually not manning up as well as they should.
Kick to handball ratio, 50-50 for the Kangas. More kicks than handballs for St Kilda this term. Saw some very interesting stats in last night's game. The MCG between the Hawks and the Eagles. Handball happy.
It's as though the Saints might have modelled themselves on the Eagles.
Kangas bring it to half forward. Petrie is all alone. Can they execute inside 50 a bit better this time? They look for Thompson. Good defending from Hudgton. Taken by Gould to Gilbert. Sold the dummy to Campbell. Dempster over to Goddard. And there's a couple of Saints free at half-back. One of them is Kazitsky. Almost, you just think they're going through the motions at the moment, the Saints. Kazitsky, no urgency in their play at all. Now Montagna tries to break the line. Puts it inside 50. Almost a clever mark to Farida. Here's Revolt. Snap from Nick Revolt. And surely this is St Kilda's first. Milne. Sidestep. Goal for the Saints.
Well, the first goals come 9.5 minutes into the second quarter. It took a bit of individual brilliance by Nick Revolt. There it was. Just his ability to read the play. He couldn't take an attempt at the marking contest, so he read it front and centre. He's got to do everything, Nick Revolt. Set up the opportunity for Stephen Milne. Long time coming, first goal for St Kilda.
So Stephen Milne, back from Siberia, kicks St Kilda's first goal of the match almost halfway through the second quarter. And after 126 St Kilda disposals. Will it spark them? Del Santo just didn't keep his hands on the ball. Harvey again, prominent for the Kangas. Corey Jones for Rawlings. Heat on. Riggio. Kuzitsky intercepting. Missing Del Santo. Power though fumbling. Graham. It's untidy. Del Santo cocked it high from Rawlings. So it's a free kick to Nick Del Santo. 114 consecutive games before he was dropped. And it's made particularly significant by the fact that the all-time St Kilda record of 123 was so tantalisingly close. It was held by Ian Sinman 66 premiership player. Here's Pratt. That's a high tackle, I fancy, from Allen, and it was read that way by umpire McInerney.
North Melbourne by 27.
Move on now, Daniel. Move on, please.
Pratt gets to hurry up. Drills it along the line, and it's a beautiful pass to Hale. So just throwing things up here, the Roos a bit. As he kicks to the wing. Gilbert worked his way to the front, but a good mark. Just read it better, Corey Jones. Last 3 or 4 times as they've gone inside 50, the Kangaroos, they've lost opportunities. It's not quite clean enough. See if they can make amends here. They're still dominating this game. Gibson to Simpson, to Harvey. Good pick up by McQualter. Now Allen handballs over to Goddard. Gives it back to Milne. He kicks to Revolts. Arms chop, no doubt about that free kick. So Nick Revolt, as always, playing in front and is rewarded.
Michael, thank you. Thank you.
Just can't ever question this man's work rate. He just works himself into the ground.
And he kicks to Goddard.
So the Saints try to construct something and kick another goal, string a couple together and begin eating away at this Kangaroo lead. James Gwilt, his 4th season now with the Saints, shown glimpses. Goddard after Revolt again, and he's doing it
Worked
again.
hard. It's extraordinary, wasn't it, Bossy, to watch that?
Watching you?
He just blows people up, doesn't he, with his work rate? You can't go with him. Took Shannon Watt all the way back and went back a 3rd effort, and the 4th one got him. Watt just didn't have the tank to go with him. There's his heart rate. Up to 180.
Has he got a long straight kick in him after all of that? Oh, it's a magnificent effort. A wonderful effort from Revolt. Well, that sparked the Saints.
So there's one bloke who's willing himself on this contest to be able to say, come on boys, this is the way to go, this is what we've got to do. It's that bloke. He has lifted them, he's set up both their goals. Of course, set up the first one and kicked the second one himself, but he's working himself very, very hard.
Nick Revolt has travelled over 6 kilometres already in this game. That was a captain's goal if ever you've seen one.
Yeah, he's willing himself, Quarters. He's absolutely willing himself, saying, come on boys, we've got to lift. I'll show you the way.
So the margin cut back to 21.
Oh, Daniel Harris kick. Free kick against Lee Montagna.
Free kick going to Harris. You heard the umpire's explanation. Harris with his 10th disposal. Gives it to Power. Now pops into the goal square. Thompson wrestling. Which way's he going to go?
Max Hutchin for a hole. Thanks so much.
It's going to the Saints, much to their relief, and Hutchin gets a free kick right on the last line of defence. He gives it to Harvey. Kicks to guess who? Revolt again.
No one behind him.
There's no one inside 50, so the Saints are going to have to double back here and wait for the troops to arrive. Montagna. Over to Allen. To Ball. Oh, it's a good kick. It's a mark taken by Armitage, who's well within range. The Saints mounting a fight back here at Carrara. Have a shot.
Go back and kick it.
Should have a shot here.
All in the back of their skipper, this is Quarters. It was the work rate from Revolt in the middle of the ground again. He is just absolutely willing his side to get back into the contest.
So he still wants to dish off here, Armitage. He should go back and have a shot. He's only about 20 metres out. The angle's not too bad. This to make it a 15-point game. And he's done it. Saints are fighting back.
What do you call it, Quarters? Is your left footer on the right
I
spot?
don't know why he's thinking about dishing off.
Yeah, in a spot that he should go back and kick it, and he didn't look like missing in the end, but it was the work rate as we look at Dean Laley on screen. Unhappy with that free kick, but Revolt is just extraordinary how hard he's pushing at the moment. hopefully his teammates come along and work the same at the same level.
He can kick a goal, David Armitage. Did it under pressure to win a match in the NAB Cup pre-season. And despite his reluctance there, he produced a nice little left footer to kick St Kilda's third. And the Saints are back in the hunt. And there is Armitage again. Del Santo doing some inside work for loop ball. Just couldn't get rid of the tackle. And the tackle did the job for the Kangaroos. Watts pumps it long, but it was ragged. And the defence can mop it up. Blake to Armitage to Graham, who is a long destructive kick. But well read by Harding and good aggressive play. Hustling it onto Simpson. Ops to fumble. Milne, was that high? No, it wasn't.
No, Kate.
Ball up.
Isn't it amazing how amazing it is, the actions of one person, Nick Riewoldt, to lift this team? All of a sudden they're starting to run, the crowd's starting to come into it, and they look alive, and all off the back of one person.
Inside the Saints 50, here's Milne again. Stephen Milne squeezes the kick out, but Riewoldt caught behind there, and the mark is taken by Pratt, who looks like they're just going to slow things down here, the Roos. Get a bit of tempo back in the game for them. Under the pump at the moment. They've seen the Saints kick the last 3 goals. Harding short to Harris. Long lead coming from Ferrito, and he'll receive on the wing position. Gets it moving pretty quickly. Looks for Jones. Doesn't look 100% Jones. Just not moving all that freely. Handball comes to Graham, who backs himself with pace. Graham has a bounce, and that is a magnificent pass. Unselfish play. He could have been forgiven perhaps glazing away there, but he looked at his options and he squared it up. And the mark has been taken by Eddie directly in front, kicking from about 45 metres out.
I love the idea of getting Jason Graham more into midfield because he gives them what they haven't got, a runner who breaks the lines, who can kick the footy long, and he did that really well then.
Robert Eddie, second game of football. His first goal in league football is coming up. It's another one for the Saints. They are back in town.
Literally 10 minutes ago,
it was game over.
It was game over. And that's what emotion can bring. You see the game start to break open. And as we mentioned earlier, Riewolt's influence in that. But that's their run and carry and starting to want to take on the game. They're a different outfit.
Robert Eddie with his first goal in league football kicks St Kilda's 4th on the trot, and this game has undergone a major change of complexion. The margin is 9 points. 5 minutes left before half-time. The Saints might even turn in front.
It's a huge 5-minute period in the game now. If St Kilda can go in and maybe close the margin by 1 more goal, I reckon they take the momentum and the advantage into half-time. If North can steady and kick another one, then they'll probably be happy with the way their halves panned out.
Grant getting Goddard out of the way and helping it to Campbell, to Harris. St Kilda's pressure good. Campbell now has some space in which to work. Sees 2 men on the lead. Thomas was one. Hale was the other. He very nearly took it at the back. Power had to knock it out and knocked it straight to Goddard, to Fisher, to McWalter. And the Saints are in motion again. And suddenly they are moving as one. Jones sitting it up, but Harvey had too much against him. Ferrito, Pratt, Ferrito saw he was in trouble and did well to give it to Campbell. Goes for Corey Jones, who hasn't had a lot of impact so far tonight. Gilbert, Montagna, Jones, Montagna again, Fisher. They are starting to run in waves now and look much, much better. 2 on 2 here. Harding to Rawlings. Kangaroos hold up.
And he's got a couple of loose men at half-back. And the mark's taken by Watt. And partially smothered by Kazitsky. Hansen, not awarded. Play on. Jones to Gilbert to Kazitsky. Kicks inboard. But poor execution turns it over. Power to Ferrito. Now Urquhart. Back into the middle, and that'll be in the back. Free kick to Corey Jones.
Harvey's just snuck out the back. No, he's being picked up, luckily enough.
Corey Jones out wide, where Urquhart kept on running. Now he puts his team inside 50. Hale just can't quite get there, can he? No. Play on. Shannon Grant to Rawlings. To Power. Now over to Thomas. He just blazed away. And Mark taking the last line of defence for the Saints by McQualter. To Fisher. To Montagna, and the Saints build again.
Here's poor kick by Lindsay Thomas. Here's Harvey from behind, doing a bit of shunting and giving away the free kick to Wells. Saint fans seem to have the numbers here tonight. They've come to life in the last 10 or 15 minutes. Here's Daniel Pratt pumping long and high. Thompson is in the middle, but in front Stephen King, not paid the mark. Had a fair share of it. Umpire James felt not enough.
Hasn't taken a contested mark since round one, Tim, according to the stats. Stephen King.
At his best, he takes them, and that makes him from a good player to a really good player when he takes strong pack marks, Stephen King.
High contact. Now you're running straight into Shannon Grant.
So free kick going St Kilda's way. Notice most of this quarter, Michael, the Roos have just blazed away, haven't they, inside 50. They haven't looked for the lead. They've just kicked it up to the tip of the goal square.
Yeah, and that's been that extra little bit of pressure that St Kilda generated and not getting quite those one-on-ones they were before.
Picked up by Thompson. Another high ball. It's all St Kilda here. No mark to Goddard. Oh, this could be the third coming up. Magnificent roving from Matt Campbell, and he kicks goal number 3. He's having a great night.
Last week it was his mate, Lindsay Thomas, who kicked 4. And this week it's been Matt Campbell. I love the way these guys play. Look at that front and centre. Just sensational ability to read the play and then the explosive speed. They have brought so much excitement to this North Melbourne side, and they desperately needed a goal. Momentum was with the Saints, and Matty Campbell steps up and answers.
Campbell's been the difference. 3 of the Kangaroos' 6 goals. They lead by 15 points. Likes Queensland. He got 3 at the Gabba 4 weeks ago. Here's King. Riggio in there. So was Obst.
Just added so much to their side, haven't they? Matty Campbell there on screen, and he's offside of Lindsay Thomas. They've brought excitement to North Melbourne. They've brought speed and chasing and tackling and goal scoring ability. It's been great.
Just under a minute and a half to go.
And then it was knocked back in.
So another ball up. Time for a score either way. Lee Montagna having a good second quarter for St Kilda. He's had 13 disposals for the night. Leader for his team. King down to Fisher. Simpson applying the pressure. That was high on Harvey. Surely doesn't get it. And the Kangaroos can hurt St Kilda here. Wells to Jones. The left footer. Can't get rid of the tackler. Harvey dangerous here. From 40. Measures it off and misses. Poetic justice perhaps. Looked as though there was a high tackle on Robert Harvey back in the midfield contest.
Things getting a bit heated in the box, a bit foggy. You remember those days, Luke?
Yeah.
The car used to fog up. Watch it, the drive-in.
It's before my time, Stephen. It would have been the 70s. That would have been you in your best, wouldn't it, the 70s quarters?
Seems to know a bit about the physics of it, doesn't he?
I was asking for that one. Caught the right whack there. It's North Melbourne by 16. And they have possession of the football.
So still time. And it's Harvey again, who missed a moment ago. He's too far out here. He'll try and make a play. Oh, he had a target loose in Jones, but the kick was bad. And Harvey got his hands on it there and gave to Gilbert. Now Del Santo. St Kilda with just enough time. Running forward for Del Santo was Armitage. He doesn't go there. He goes.
Great courage. Fantastic courage. Did not question.
Milne was in the middle of it. Harding and Ferrito both going at it, and Lee Harding it was who felt the wrath and the weight of Michael Ferrito. And now it's Obbs holding the football with the siren about to sound to end the first half, and the Kangaroos will go to the break leading by 16 points.
Well, certainly at about the 9-minute mark, we're looking at this game thinking North Melbourne, how much? And then St Kilda are able to turn it around on a back.
Burns off opponents. It's fantastic to watch. He's had Shannon Watt not on screen at the moment because no one can keep up with him with his aerobic capacity. It's just been an incredible effort. His first quarter didn't get a lot of the footy, but look at the work rate. And we see him again. This is 30 seconds after that bit of play. He would have run 100 metres to get here in the first place. Shannon Watt's gone. He just can't go. And we see Nick Revolt, what you say are uncontested marks, Tim, but he does it just on the back of his work rate. He blows his opponents up, and he is the reason why they won the second quarter by 9 points. The message, I think, from Ross Lyon at half-time will be, if we're going to win this game, play on, take risks, and look at your skipper. He's the man that's got you back into the contest.
He's run more than 7 kilometres in the first half, and he's still running. It's the Kangaroos by 16 points at the start of the second half. Quarters back to you.
Thank you, Tim. And right on cue as umpire Damien Sully prepares to put the ball onto the turf. It is North Melbourne 16 points in front of St Kilda. They led by 33 at one stage in the second term before a good St Kilda fight back. Let's hope we get a close game at the end tonight. We knew it was going to be low scoring. Can the Saints continue their fight back? A spot in the 8 up for grabs tonight. Umpire didn't like the bounce. Ball's out. There's Harvey. Tried to get it to Wells unsuccessfully. Little soccer off the ground by Harvey. Grits the teeth and goes for it. Gets the ball. Gives it to his skipper and Simpson. To Rawlings. Back to Simpson. Having his 18th disposal. Out wide goes Rawlings. And his kick finds Daniel Pratt. He kicks along the lines, and just getting his fist on the football was Gilbert to knock it over the line.
Boomer Harvey's up to 20 disposals in the match. His opponent at the moment is Mick Walter. If he keeps going at that pace, St Kilda can't win the game. They've got to try and clamp down on Brett Harvey.
There's Harvey again. It was a very clever tap to his skipper. Simpson is also knocked up getting the footy tonight. Picked up by Del Santo, who's been relatively quiet, just the 7 touches. That was his 8th. And another throw-in.
Who would you play on Brett Harvey, Vossi? I just don't think they can allow him to continue to win the footy as easily as he is at the moment. Who's the next matchup to go on him?
Yeah, well, it's very interesting at the moment. I think that I think at the moment you've got to wait to see how it settles down. McWalter's got to get a good crack at him after 15 minutes, see what happens.
Harding, a kick fell short. He just miscued it. Started with a very good tap from Petrie. Campbell still dangerous. 3 goals in the first half. And he very nearly has another at the start of the second. He has 3 goals, 2 for the night. Kangaroos by 17.
17 points down. I was thinking maybe it's time for someone like a Del Santo to go with him and say, we want you to improve your defensive side of the game, but give Brett Harvey something to think about the other way.
Blake goes to Gilbert. He's off. Oh, just got rid of it in the nick of time. Dempster back to Del Santo, to Goddard. Oh, back to Dempster, and they just got out of this, the Saints. As Dempster kicks to half back. Montagna attacks it. Nice pickup. Was a very nice pickup, but his handball has missed the target. Can the Kangas make St Kilda pay? No, they can't. Good tackle. Blake, Graham, Montagna, can he make amends this time? Has a steadying bounce. And that kick finds a target. So the Saints away here as they bring the ball along the wing. Fisher kicks to the hard-working Revolt, who takes the mark in front of Watt.
First goal of this half, a big one. Revolt putting it into a pretty good spot. Kangaroos had the numbers, but they're not out of the woods yet. Gibson getting the hand pass out. Milne dangerous. Given the leeway by the umpires, but in the end a free kick paid against him. And it's Wells breaking. This is Hanson. Now Corey Jones. Just 3 kicks in the opening half and a few hand passes. Harding. Well played by Gilbert, outpointing Campbell that time in an important contest. So both teams have had a crack at trying to gain that first goal. There's a bold kick into the corridor. It's a good one. It finds Fisher. Trying to lure the tackler to him. Giving it off to McWalter, who tempted fate. Simpson, good smothered by Ball. St Kilda grafting it forward. Milne. Simpson getting it back. Obst, uncertain, filled with uncertainty, but he draws a high tackle and comes out of it with a fortunate free.
Obst out very wide, and it's marked by Urquhart.
The game's almost started the second half like it started the game.
Yeah.
Just feeling their way again, both sides.
Thanks, Stephen. Ready, work.
Brady Rawlings has the football, goes backwards. Now kick into the middle, marked by Petrie.
It's a bit of a worry for St Kilda. I'm watching Luke Ball in centre wing, just holding his groin at the moment. Had the trainers come out to him.
He heard it a short time ago in a tackle. A bit ginger since as Hale kicks to the 50. Marked by Grant, who wants to get it moving quickly. And that's a beautiful kick, but no mark. Taken by Campbell, picked up by Harding. Ever the opportunists, and that was a real opportunist goal. And the all-important first goal of the third term goes to the Roos.
And there was an opportunist goal there, but if we just saw earlier before, Grant, left-hand side, wheels in, gets it in quick, puts the pressure under enormous pressure, and they kick a goal.
This is the incident, Luke Ball tackle. You know he tackles so well, but you can see straight away just got up after that and was holding his groin, but he's in the centre square there, so let's hope he's okay.
And Lee Harding, who kicked that goal, is with him. And Ball wins this contest between them. Goes for Revolt. Watt makes a good spoil. Eddie got something onto it to hold it up for Jones. Montagna. Now, can Kozitsky snare this? At the second bite, he's claiming it. It might matter. Oh, he hooked it just a little too much. Desperately close, but no cigar for the big Saint.
Got the talent down there. If you give these forwards enough opportunity, Kozitsky one-on-one, and he's such a massive man compared to his opponent, Josh Gibson or Shannon Watt. St Kilda forwards want one-on-one opportunities. They get enough of them, they'll score.
From one Queenslander to another, Urquhart to Hale. Half a Queenslander anyway.
Glad we got that bit right.
Hale on centre wing. Again along the line to Jones, and good spoil from Blake, who's done his job tonight well and truly. Hard worker for St.
Luke Ball came off and he's just grabbed the groin, as Das was able to mention earlier, so hopefully nothing lasting there.
Hale the tap, picked up by Armitage. Got it to Fisher, to Kozitsky. Pumped it long to Revolt, why wouldn't you? Both hands on the football, difficult one, couldn't quite take it. Obst, handball, intercepted by Jones. No one near goal, so he hoped for the best. But
almost a better result in today's football. Out of bounds, get the set up again.
There's Shannon what on screen, his GPS. He's had to chase Nick Revolt around, so he would have known he was in for a big night. He's travelled as much distance almost as Nick Revolt. He had to because he's on him.
And they're at it in the ruck as well. Still a chance for the Saints. Milne just trying to prize it out. Pratt careful not to knock it deliberately over the line. He did it very well. He knocked it so that it sat on the line, and eventually it was taken over in the tide. The Saints looking to pull back that early goal kicked by Lee Harding for the Kangas. Revolt again doing the ruck work. He is indefatigable. Sam Fisher prizing it out and bumping it through, and the Saints do pull one back.
Well, it's a small thing, Vossi. It was a goal that was manufactured by Sam Fisher in the contest, not noted for that particular part of the game. That is the barest of possible margins. But look on screen there, you can just see a handful of teammates got over. It was 6 or 7 as opposed to just one in the first quarter. You've got to generate spirit somehow. You've got to manufacture it sometimes.
Michael Voss, this would not have been a goal at the SCG.
Yeah, the fat post. Yeah, we copped a bit over that one, Quarters, but more importantly, Fisher in the guts. Defender come midfielder.
High lead from Kazitsky. Del Santo gets the clearance. To Gardner, back to Del Santo. Kicks to Revolts. Good mark. North Melbourne lead by 16. Revolt pops it up. Hale flew. No mark.
No chance. Tackle straight away. Took about 4 pairs of hands. Well done.
Looks so much better on a quick play, don't they? Revolt's the one who always takes a strong mark. Look at those hands. Just sensational. And he plays on. Gives his forwards an opportunity.
Big chance here for the Saints. Hale got the knockout.
Knock it out. It's out.
Milne's in there fighting.
Both grabbed at the same time.
So is Thomas. Another bounce. 40 metres out from the Saints goal. Kazitsky v Hale. Hale again, good tap to Pratt. He's wrapped up by 2 Saints.
Chance again.
Another stalemate.
Held to him. Straight up.
Not quite sandwich time for Dean Laidley yet.
Now it only happens special teams on special occasions. Here's Milne. Jones up and down on the one spot. It'll be play on when this comes down. Bounce beating everybody there. Hobbs needing to get rid of it. And that's about the best the Kangaroos could hope for there. St Kilda pressing. It's becoming a grappling, grinding, grafting sort of game to give the locals something they're a little more familiar with. A form of rugby.
And Pratt goes short and up the middle. Mark taken by Obst.
Well, the one thing you would say about this game is that, you know, for the majority of this game, Kangaroos clearly have been on top, but they only sit 15 points ahead. So if there's a little momentum shift here, it can become very dangerous for the Kangaroos. So if St Kilda just keep pressing, it may change.
That was a spiral torpedo drop punt from Adam Simpson.
I didn't think that had a name, to be honest.
We could call it a mongrel.
Yeah, well, that's probably more the appropriate term.
It wasn't worthy of a name, was it?
So throw in at half forward for Kangas. Hale used his body well. Picked up by Rawlings. To Harvey. Throws it on the boot. Into the pocket. Gilbert's been solid. Armitage. Quite attacked the ball hard enough. Harvey did. Kick smothered. Still alive. Riggio with the banana. Misses.
Brent Harvey.
Christy Malthouse.
Luke Ball is back on the ground. He is fine. No problems with his groin.
Well, that was a goal that should have been kicked. Good news for the Saints all round. It missed, and Luke Ball is back. Sean Dempster, Goddard now. Saints looking for that spontaneity and movement, and Kazitsky did it well there, and that's a good sign for the Saints. And he is a good penetrating kick of the ball. There's nothing behind those two. Pratt and Milne. Obst gets back. And backs himself here. He's run a fair way. Kangaroos. Oh, that's a bad kick from Petrie. Spraying it carelessly out on the full.
It was a great contested mark by Justin Kaczynski at centre wing, but the problem was the next kick then went to a one-on-one contest. It was Milne at centre half forward on a bigger opponent. So as good as that was, their structure still isn't working for them.
And again, all roads lead to Revolt.
Just 15.
Luke Ball. I wouldn't fancy with the problems he's been having that from out there he's going to kick this, but you never know. It's a tester for him. The man on the mark is 45 out. He's got to kick it 50 metres and more from out near the boundary. Tough shot at the best of times. From 48. Sets it on its way and, gee, he went close. St Kilda have worked their way back into this. The margin is 15 points.
Yeah, they have. They're persisting. They're persisting, and as we mentioned, this game has the ability to be able to turn very, very quickly. So they are in touch.
Pratt goes the long option. Almost a mark to Revolt. Riggio's in there. Fed out the handball. Well done, Ferrito. Had it stripped by Jones. Revolt has another crack. Ball's in there. He's bowled over. Jones again. Puts it back inside 50. And that's a strong mark taken by Jared Allen. Also playing his second game of football tonight along with Robert Eddy, who celebrated with a goal. Let's see if Jared Allen can do the same. Kick his first goal in league footy.
Like the way he moves, Quarters. He's a big lad. Shown some really good signs tonight, and that will do his confidence the world of good. 193 centimetres and 90 kilos, so he's a big young man. And a good one grab mark there.
13 disposals, 7 marks on debut last week against the Dockers from Riddles Creek in out of Melbourne. And that kicks up the creek.
Disappointment. Wasted opportunity. Margin 14 points, but it's a battle now. Kanga's under pressure, and they know it. Riggio, the noose tightening. He's lucky. He drew a high tackle.
They'll be disappointed with that Stephen Milne because it wasn't a great attempt to tackle. He just gave away a soft free kick. He had to stick that one. That's the part of his game that frustrates his coach.
So that's for a good tackle away from winning the free kick themselves and scoring a big victory. Power in the Hanson direction. Roving in was Watt. Now Gibson, who had a big first quarter, takes it wide for Grant. Beyond his range out there, the man on the mark is at 50 or even just outside. A long way from home, and he sits it up. Here comes Nathan Thompson with a beauty. He had the run and it was a well-placed kick. It gave the big forward the run, the launching pad, and he didn't let his teammate down.
Yeah, when he gets a run and jump at it, just spectacular. Meets it at its highest point. Just gets a couple of steps and takes a beautiful mark.
It's a great mark, isn't it?
Full flight.
So good for your confidence after doing a knee injury too, to land and twist like that.
Right now the Kangaroos need a goal, and they don't get it.
That's not so good for your confidence. Shaking one.
Maybe he had a headache from the high altitude. That's why he couldn't concentrate.
Well, they haven't made his life too easy, have they? His teammates tonight just bombed it up to him. As Goddard brings it out of defensive 50. Dempster somehow got out of trouble. To Ball, he's run straight into it. Here's Power to Wells. Simpson sweeps the handball to Riggio. He's had a bit of it this quarter to Grant. Hutchton Had it and lost it. Picked up by Jones. Back to Riggio. Ball intercepts. And over to Harvey. Chips to the wing, and it's marked by Fisher. North Melbourne by 15.
And that's that play when no one was running past. They all went past him, Das. There was no link up, no connection, no handball received.
Or no play on either. Vossi back in the corridor.
And they had the opportunity, they had the numbers to do it going forward.
King to McQualter, a little bit lackadaisical, had the ball smothered. Hasn't had a great night, McQualter. And a stoppage here will suit the Kangaroos. Oh, hello, free kick. It's going the Kangaroos' way, so that's an even better result for North Melbourne.
Costly turnover that, but as I was saying, Shannon Grant holds the footy up, but you'd rather make a bold mistake, play on into the corridor. If you get tackled, so be it. But when you go back into your shell and kick down the line, they need to win this game. They're 15 points down. If they're going to do it, be bold, make a bold mistake, play on.
That time he's holding it into him. No chance.
It's the free kick. Shannon Grant taking the free, went very wide, took the ball right out to the boundary from the heart of the corridor, and now it's St Kilda's opportunity. Hasn't been the best of nights for Harvey, but that was good to Ball, and now Montagna in full flight, long in the revolt direction, plenty against him. Milne, their only hope. He's a good hope. He is a goal-kicking hope, his second of the night.
And that's what you love about him, Vossi. When he does that, you just say, you've got to play every week, you'll play for another 4 or 5 years. We saw the bad side of Stephen Milne before with a soft tackle effort. That's why he's so dangerous. It's just that match between when he hasn't got the footy, he needs to get better at that. Because when he's got it, he can do stuff that not many people can do. This is brilliant.
Montagna has 18 possessions, 15 handball receives.
Stephen Milne's second cuts the margin back to just 9. And they practice and practice and practice these little dinky kicks for goal at training. And we see them every week now. It's no fluke. It is absolutely deliberate. So 9-point ball game. McQualter tied up in the middle.
Nathan Thompson into the ruck. We're having a look at the match up there at full forward. Kaczynski in the goal square. Obst is his opponent. Nathan Thompson doing some ruck work. In his Hawthorn days, very, very competent ruckman. And he's won a free kick for a Shepherd here.
You've blocked him.
That was a tough free kick, I reckon.
Set play. It is a tough call.
So Thompson, good kick to Ferruto. To Harvey. Well done, McQualter. Couldn't hold him up. Harvey can go in here and should kick a goal. He loves these. And he hits the woodwork. Brett Harvey's been off target tonight. 1 goal, 3. And at least 2 of those 3 behinds have been very gettable goals.
Still worried about that matchup, Vossi. 25 disposals. McWalter's had a fair go at it now. Would you stick with him or would you put someone else on him?
At the moment, from my point of view, it's 10 points of difference. So
leave him at it.
I'd still keep going for a little while. If it starts to break open, yeah, but you know the Saints are hanging in there. So at this point, I'd leave it.
Things breaking St Kilda's way. McWalter with a target in midfield. It's Jason Blake. What can he see up ahead? Revolt he can see. Just can't hang on and came down. And Kaczynski with the odds against him. He had support, but everybody got in everyone's way. And the Kangaroos prevail. Simpson to Grant. And he goes to Hanson. Hitting up as he has done often towards the wings. He goes for Campbell. Strong effort in front of Gilbert. A long way from home yet. Kangaroos needing a goal. They kick the first of the half and look to be in control. Campbell again. 3 goals for the night. Just checked himself there. Didn't go for broke. Armitage, Dempster. Del Santo fooled them going onto his right side. Did it beautifully. Gilbert. Probing ball for Harvey. And delivering to Revolt, who's been inspirational for St Kilda. But he's still 80 metres out. Sits and hopes. 3 against Kaczynski. That meant that St Kilda had to have someone down. No one can't escape.
Gee, stayed down Milne. He read it beautifully. Just couldn't quite break the tackle. It was a beautiful piece of roving. There he wasn't. Just got pinned in the tackle. He was away otherwise for a goal. Here he is again.
See Stephen King leaning over the top. There's Dean Laidley on screen. Just leaned over and whispered in Stephen Milne's ear. Said, we'll try and set one up here.
Well, they're leaving him alone, and Pratt's dropping off the back of the contest and leaving Stephen Milne alone, waiting for him to come out the other side. Clearly, the Kangaroos don't want to leave that space forward open. So you can see Pratt, there's Milne. Pratt's just out of the screen, and he just drops off right now.
Hale. As Ferrito fed it out to Harding. It's an ambitious handball. Somehow the Kangaroos got away with it. Now out wide, Wells.
Right, look at this man.
He'll go for a bit of a trot here.
They're out here. They're out.
Back to Harding, back to Wells. Wells can go on and kick a goal for the Kangaroos. That is a beauty.
One of my favourite players in full flight, Daniel Wells. He's just in, look at that, just cruise control. He just, magnificent footballer. And, you know, when he's playing well, no doubt the Kangaroos are a much better side. That's obvious. But he's just a beautiful footballer.
It's a big play down the other end. It was a stoppage inside 50 for the Saints. They lost it, turned it over, and went all the way down for a goal to North Melbourne. Massive turnaround.
There's the live ladder. With a win tonight, the Kangaroos would be on 30 points. They would actually jump over Collingwood for the moment and push Carlton back out of the 8, and St Kilda would find themselves just slipping behind, a game and percentage out. Daniel Wells kicking the breaking goal for the Kangaroos. Del Santo ridden down from behind, free kick.
I thought they rolled him there. I'd like to have another look at it, but I thought it wasn't such a bad tackle.
See how even from this free kick, it's go back over your mark, just try and pop one down the line. Like a really bold side would have just got up, scooted out to the wing on your left foot, and just got it in there quickly and see what happens. Even from now, thought about playing on, but they hesitate and they go back over the line all the time. I know there's numbers back now for North Melbourne, but it's a mindset.
No contact from behind. The Saints fans wanted a free. Hale bombs it out of defence. Rawlings not quite able to hang on. What a great effort that was, though, to hold possession of the ball by a fingernail. And now Rawlings comes away with it and swings the Kangas into the 50. Blake, oh, a little bit fancy, low percentage. Thomas. Blake gets back. And there will be a decision against him.
Hold on to it. You're under the foot. You got swung around. No, it's no.
I reckon that is very, very tough. He stood to his feet, had the ball pinned to him.
You're happy just to bring it to ground. That was
Two bad moments for Blake, the little palm down, and now the tackle, and he just couldn't get rid of it. St Kilda with the numbers there. Kozitsky takes a beauty.
Free kicks this quarter 6-1 in favour of the Kangaroos. No one on the mark, so Kozitsky's off, but not for long. Oh, kicks to Goddard. And his kick finds the qualter. Saints fans want a 50, but nothing in that one. So McQualter at half back. North by 16.
Just to say they're going to play for time here. In the last 90 seconds, they could do with a goal, couldn't they?
Desperately. It's just not the right play. They need to go and score. They need another goal going into the last quarter. Give themselves a chance. And this slow play, I don't understand it.
Not many of us do when you're behind. As Harvey's just come on, takes the mark and kicks to Blake. Handballs on to Jones. Now here's an opportunity for the Saints as they go inside 50. There's another Torpy. Almost a good mark. Taken by Del Santo. We'll have a throw in. So still time for the Saints who've got it inside their attacking 50. It's a great mark taken by Justin Kozitsky down the other end. Fisher releases. Another throw in.
Don't hold off the back.
King the tap, beautifully done to Harvey. Harvey looks for a revolt, missed the target, but he's got it now. Handball's in the ball direction. Now Harvey swoops again to Graham from right on 50. That's across the face and out of bounds on the full. So you'd think that'd be it for three-quarter time. North Melbourne currently lead by 16 points.
Graham's the man they need to get the footy in his hands, because he breaks the lines and he kicks the footy long. They're getting him in the midfield in the last quarter.
Gibson kicks to the contest, which might just give St Kilda a vague hope. They need someone to take a mark here. Milne flew and has given away a free kick. It's the Kangaroos ball, and that is that. And at three-quarter time, the Kangaroos lead, as they did at half-time, by 16 points.
Yeah, well, that quarter started like the start. I don't know, Christy, does it work for you?
It's the obvious one, isn't it, the Gold Coast Sharks? I suggested the Hammerheads.
The Hammerheads. Well, I'm sure there'll be lots of names being thrown around, and the one thing that they have done, which is good, is engage the community, and they'll end up coming up with a name out of that. So I think that that's a good thing.
9,128 is the official crowd tonight, which is a bit more than the 6,000 they got up here earlier in the other game this season. Holds 14,000. Carrara, we start the last quarter. And it's St Kilda into attack. They need the first goal of the last term to give themselves a real chance. Revolt.
Good kick.
There was a beauty, and it finds Justin Kazitsky, who's just got to go back from 45 metres out and kick a goal.
Well, he's the man that's looked likely tonight, Nick Revolt, when he's been up and running, got his hands on the footy. They've looked like scoring.
Two behind so far to Justin Kazitsky tonight, including a poster. And another poster, another point rather, to Kazitsky. So it is North Melbourne by 15 early in the last quarter.
I think some promising signs from Kazitsky tonight. He's had a bit of appetite about his appearance, and I say that in the nicest possible way. Now, St Kilda looking to seize an opportunity here, holding the ball in. The early running crucial in this last quarter. They're not out of this game. They could worry the Kangaroos out of it yet. Kazitsky a clear tap. Del Santo just having to drop it onto the boot and dribble. What
was he doing?
Well, it's never a good look, but sometimes it is the best course of action. Dean Laidley, like a man who's been to one of those Gold Coast health resorts, looking very serene tonight, despite the fact that the game is not over. Maybe he'll go to one of those after it is over, and he's got a week off. It's a good kick from Pratt, finding Gibson. Clear of the 50, no one on the mark. He's going to go to a one-on-one. Hale will have to fight at ground level. Blake a little mobile for him, able to knock it clear. Petrie backpedaling, King coming at him. And the disposal wasn't legal. St Kilda's ball, and they can build again. 50-metre penalty, and King will be within kicking range.
What was that 50 for?
Too slow.
Well, he didn't give it back any more slowly than all the other players give it back.
There's no need for you to turn around. You knew whose kick it was. You were just trying to stall. No, you were stalling so everyone can man up.
Once again, as we said earlier in the night, it's a big penalty for a minor.
You see that every player on the mark does that.
Stephen King, a veteran, a hard head, and a straight kick, and the Saints are within 8 points.
Well, it took a 50-metre penalty. We'll have a look at this again. Josh Gibson, just the hesitation there to point to an opponent.
That's not 50. Every player on the mark does that. Every time there's a free kick.
Yeah, it's a very harsh penalty, Quarters. Very harsh penalty.
Well, Stephen King's got the goal. This was for the 50. I reckon he is dead set stiff, Josh Gibson. Luke, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I think that's way too harsh a penalty. Got to give the player some sort of leeway there.
So just about every player on the mark, every time there's a free kick awarded, does that.
It's game on, though.
It is game on. Back to the action, and it's now North Melbourne by just 8. Brett Harvey played another great game tonight. That's disposal 27.
Petrie's out here.
Yeah, he kicks to Wells, and Petrie is free at centre-half forward. Revolt gives chase. Petrie kicks and kicks well. Great transition from the Kangaroos. And Campbell, who has been dangerous tonight with 3 goals, 2 next to his name, will line up.
Gee, slipped out the back nice there.
Yeah,
he was in a mile of space.
Some people would call that cheating in the old form, but in some ways he read the play, got himself into space, and he won the footy, so well done.
A quick reply for the Kangaroos. No, it's not. He's not even going to make the distance in the end, and King decides safety first and concedes a point. And North Melbourne by 9.
It was an important moment. The immediate reply would have been a heartbreaker and a real stopper for St Kilda, but they're really in touch now. There's Del Santo. Burning off Rawlings. Oh, the weight needed to be just right. Kangaroos had numbers at the contest. Farito searching for Harvey. The 2 Harveys collide on one side of the line.
Great sign there from young Jared Allen. Just split this pack, cleaned up 3 North Melbourne defenders. Great sign for the young fella to do that.
Alan Obbs, the 3rd gamer, coming off worst. Robert Harvey, gone high, will take a free kick. But he had 14 disposals for the night. The great veteran in his 372nd game, raging against the dying of the light. Gives to Del Santo to Revolt. Watt making the spoil. Kuzitsky to nobody. Ties up Harding. Whistle hasn't come. The umpire let it go forever. Surely it's got to stop eventually.
Look, it's only early days, but Nick Del Santo has just got the ball in his hand a couple of times and he's carried it. Let's hope that there's more to come in the last quarter, because the Saints need that man. He is so important to them. Need the ball in his hands because he does make good decisions.
Scrubby kick by Farito to the wing. Picked up by Fisher. Shows a bit of toe. Kick again partially smothered to Revolt, who stood up the tackle and cleverly handballed to Montagna, who was dispossessed by Wells. Kazitsky over the ball. They'll have a throw-in the Saints' forward pocket. They trail North Melbourne by 9. It's an 8-point game tonight. Both these teams so closely grouped together on the ladder. Throw in Petrie. Milne. Kazitsky. Ball still alive. 20 out from St Kilda's goal. And we'll have a bounce.
Starting a little bit tired, North Melbourne side. They're not moving with the same sort of spring in their step. They'll need to defend with their lives here, though.
Jones the chance, didn't take the kick. Graham, now Del Santo is a left footer. Is normally a very good kick. He misses, but the Saints are within 8 points.
Well, you called it, Vossi, didn't you? Said the body language looked good for Nick Del Santo. Hasn't had a massive impact on the game, but you're right, he's looming as a dangerous player for North Melbourne this final part of the last quarter.
Disposals this quarter 20-9 in St Kilda's favour. Kick in marked by Farito.
Move it on. Play on.
Short one to Petrie. Leading possession getters in the game, 28 to Harvey, 23 to Simpson. For St Kilda, 22 to Ball and 19 to Fisher. Petrie along the line looking for Hansen. Had the arms chopped.
In the marking contest. On his shoulder down.
Free kick to Hansen at half-back. Kicked in the Jones direction. The fist came from Armitage. Harding's in there. So is Harvey. Ball comes out to Jones. On hands and knees is Dempster. To Montagna, to Harvey, to Del Santo. Good tackle by Harris. Dempster again, out to Fisher. Got Jones in support. Handballs to him now. Farino closes and strips him of the footy. Armitage keeps it alive. Riggio couldn't handle it. Here's Del Santo, bit of class there. Trying to find a teammate. Desperate stuff from Gibson. Picked up by McQualter. McQualter has found a teammate in Justin Kazitsky, who wanted to play on, go back and have a shot. And this, would you believe, to make it a 2-point game.
Del Santo's lifted them. He's absolutely lifted them. He's running, he's playing on instinct now. Before it looked like he was trying to think about what he was going to do. He's now backing himself in and he's winning the ball.
3 behinds tonight to Kazitsky. It is North Melbourne by just 2.
And there's that man on screen, Nick Del Santo, who has got himself involved in the contest. As Michael Voss said, just starting to play with a bit more instinct. Just don't feel as though St Kilda has played all that well tonight. They're only 2 points down, so now it's up to North Melbourne to respond. Huge centre clearance now, Tim, this one, for both sides. 2-point ball game. Clearances will become really vital in this last quarter.
Nick Del Santo, after 114 consecutive games, dropped last week. He's back with a vengeance. He might lift the Saints to victory here. They're within a kick. Goddard bombs. It'll land inside 50. Gardner against Gibson. Gardner a quiet night, and Gibson beats him here. Urquhart goes short, and it mightn't have been the best option. It was a contest. Montagna prevails, and Revolt is on the end of it and can put St Kilda in front, or if he doesn't, because he will. Kazitsky to line up for his second goal in virtually a minute to give St Kilda the lead in a match which for most of the first half it looked as if it would lose by a big margin. The Saints are in front.
And it's the 2 big forwards who are getting the job done for St Kilda. Nick Revolt to Justin Kazitsky. Always thought if you had enough opportunities for these guys, they were going to be too big and too talented for the North defenders. North defenders have had real trouble with the big guns, the big forwards in the competition, and it's these 2 making the difference now.
Who would have thought, Tim, we could have a Saturday night special?
Well, we mentioned during that last quarter about being able to stay tight, stay with the opposition, which St Kilda were able to do, and that momentum can shift very, very quickly. Now we've seen it. North have stopped, Saints have lifted a gear.
And Armitage bursts through the pack, puts St Kilda into attack again. No mark for Rito. Urquhart, good tackle. Revolt, he goes at it like a bull at the gates. And ball, says the umpire. It's a free kick going to St Kilda. Everything running their way at the moment.
He could have got the handball earlier. Right out, right out. That's it.
He's been enormous, this man on screen.
Nick Revolt pumps it long. And off hands touched, it's a throw in the forward pocket.
He started the game in the first quarter with a few clangers and a couple of fumbles, but he just wheels himself in the contest. Does never drop his head at any stage.
We have an interchange mistake, and the interchange steward has run out the umpire. Now there has been an interchange mistake.
North Melbourne, too many St Kilda players on the ground. All right, down here. Free kick 50. Kangaroos kick up here. Too many too many on the ground. Interchange infringement. Interchange infringement. Just kick it up, Daniel.
So an interchange infringement. Too many St Kilda players on the ground. North Melbourne get the ball and
Daniel
50.
Harris was the player with the footy down here.
In fact, it's a shot for goal. It's a shot for goal right down the other end of the ground. There is a spot on the ground. So it was deep in St Kilda's forward line, and now the Kangaroos will have a shot at goal. This is an absolute game turner. What a sensation.
50 metres. Thank you.
So that's pretty much a 150-metre penalty.
Infringement.
So that means there was 19 St Kilda players on the ground. So 19 St Kilda players on the ground. It has come down the other end, the whole length of the ground, and this could very well decide the game. I know that's not even the halfway mark of the last quarter.
Could decide the 8 quarters.
This is a massive story, this. Massive story.
Could decide the 8. So the game.
Daniel Harris is the man. The ball has come down the ground 150 metres. Harris to put the Kangaroos back in front. It's a goal. Unbelievable. Christy Malthouse, talk us through it.
Well, Stephen, I actually didn't see it because I was watching the play on the field, so it must have happened pretty quickly, and I think it must have been one of those moments literally where the player came onto the ground before the player coming off the ground ran behind the yellow line. Remember, it's the yellow line and not just the boundary line. So I don't think they had 19 players on the field for too long. I think it would have been more that the player didn't stay inside the box before the player coming off the ground actually came off the ground.
Well, I saw the official walking on the ground.
It has to be that he stepped over the white line to get that penalty. It has to be 19 players on the field, not just outside that yellow box.
It took a couple of seconds to register what was going on, but this is what we all feared, and it's happened, and it's resulted in the Kangaroos regaining the lead, and all of a sudden the momentum switches.
Fraser Gehrig and Lenny Hayes both there supporting their teammates. The shake of Luke Ball's head as he waited for that centre bounce said a lot. This could be the moment that has just turned this game. St Kilda had all the momentum. Wells threads it inboard. Simpson. And now the Kangaroos are on the build as power pumps into the 50. Their ball up.
And it has changed the momentum of the whole game, hasn't it? It was all St Kilda. They had everything going. Kazitsky and Rurok were on fire. And they're winning the clearances, and now we're back inside 50 for North Melbourne.
So it's free kick. Kazitsky, big factor in this last quarter. Now Gwilt, a left footer. Puts it in front of Armitage. Goddard not quite expecting it. Saints need to get that spark back. Harvey running forward for him, McWalter, who delivered beautifully into the 50 a while ago. And his disposal's good here. Graham is a specialist. Long shot for goal. This is just offline. The margin is a point.
Inside 50s, 9-3 this quarter in favour of the Saints. There's Jill Lindsay. She's just been on the mobile phone. She's sitting right next to the interchange steward. She's a leading AFL official. In fact, in a couple of weeks, she'll be the number 2 person in charge. And boy, she'll have plenty to say tonight after that sensational development in this game. As St Kilda win it back. Fisher to Revolt. He has played some sort of game, and good usage of the footy. He finds Gardner. Gardner kicks towards Kazitsky. Pratt gets back and knocks it over the line.
I think Shannon Watt might have spent all his petrol tickets. There he is on Nick Revolt. He would have run probably more tonight than he ever has done in his whole career, and he's out on his feet. I think they need to maybe switch to Ferrito and give someone else a chance.
Saints looking for a goal to grab back the lead. Simpson keeps it near the boundary. Saints asking for it, pleading for it, not getting it. Another throw in. Almost half the quarter left.
Hasn't the interchange steward become an important role in football today?
Kazitsky rucking with Petrie. It won't come out. There'll be a ball up. That goal, the contentious Kangaroos goal, just their second in 40 minutes. And it took that extraordinary development to produce it. They've become bogged down. Kazitsky beautifully to Ball, to Montagna. Just couldn't get, or could he get enough leverage on it? That's a tremendous kick by Lee Montagna, and the Saints are back in front.
And the done it on the back of some great clearance work in this quarter, Vossi. That hit out from Kazitsky was great to Luke Ball. They've now won the clearances this quarter, 10-3. North Melbourne want to go in and win this game. They need to start winning some footy around the stoppages. There's the hit-out stats quarter by quarter. St Kilda have got their hands on the footy. Doesn't necessarily mean a lot, that, but clearances this quarter, 10-3 in favour of the Saints. They need to get their hands on the footy around the stoppages, North Melbourne, to get back in the game.
Umpire throws it up in the middle. Kazitsky high, but it was snared by Harris. Got it to Simpson. Some cool heads there for the Roos. Combined. Put the Kangas inside 50. Here's Harvey. Another one of the experienced players. They need to lift. They're behind right now. McCullough sees it safely over the line. Harvey wants a free kick. None forthcoming. St Kilda leads by 5. 50 out from their goal. Thompson up, got the tap towards Harris, pushed in the back by Ball.
Rearvolt's up and running around the ground now. He's just not confined to the forward 50.
Kick towards Watt. Finds himself up forward. Riggio lost a handle on it. Tapped over to Goddard, to Del Santo, to Gardner. Good tackle by Harding. Great tackle. And Harding's been rewarded with a free kick. 60 metres from goal.
That's a massive play in that game by Lee Harding, because the Saints were on. If Charlie Gardner had got through, they were out the back.
There's nobody in Saints forward line.
Harding kicked it straight to Revolt, who had his arms hacked by Hale. Free kick. Christy Malthouse.
Stephen, I have checked with Jill Lindsay, the ground manager for the AFL, about what happened, and it was, as I mentioned, Luke Ball, instead of waiting inside the yellow box that he's supposed to, ran onto the ground as McCullough was coming off the ground, which meant that for about 2 seconds St Kilda had 19 players on the ground, which you're no longer able to do, and that was the infringement.
Thanks, Christy.
He will be hoping the Saints can win this game. Push in the back by Hanson, or over the shoulder. Free kick to Stephen King. Saints by 5 points. Of course, it was the Kangaroos very much involved in the game that produced the incident that led to the change of the rules when the Swans at Telstra Dome came out with a draw. Brett Kirk kicking a tying goal while Sydney had 19 on the field. It's gone out on the floor. It'll be the Kangaroos' ball. The skipper Simpson at half back. Well, it would hardly be a Kangaroos game if there wasn't drama and tension at the end. Luke Ball with a lot to do for the Saints, to Sam Fisher, setting up Jones, who gives to Milne. He'll nail it surely. Off the instep, he rams it home. The Saints by 11.
It's just as well he kicked that goal, Michael Voss, because he had a man sitting in the goal spare.
All by himself.
All by himself. All's well that ends well for the Saints.
Yeah, he has an unusual approach at goal. I mean, even then he probably should have gone straight, but he chose to take the angle and make it a bit more difficult for him. So instead of making it a 5 degree of difficulty, he made it a 9, but he did have that option over top. But more importantly, they get ahead even more.
Luke Ball has another sit down. Kazitsky gets a message from the coach, for goodness sake, wait till your man comes off. St Kilda by 11. At one stage in the second term, North Melbourne led by 33. What a turnaround. Mark taken by Fisher, who's had 23 disposals and 12 marks. Goddard finds Wilt.
Stay there. That's good. Okay.
We've mentioned the matchup a couple of times, Das, but McQualter on Harvey. Harvey's had 4 possessions in this quarter, so they have persisted with it, and he's been under pressure in this last quarter.
Kick to the wing, Del Santo. That's a free kick, an obvious one too. Advantage paid. Montagna to Goddard. They could just about close the deal here, the Saints, with another goal. Gibson back with a flight of the ball, no mark. This game that started very ordinary fashion It promised little, but it's delivered plenty, Tim, in the end.
Well, it's delivered 5 goals to 1 St Kilda's way in the last quarter, and that sort of run on, you couldn't really imagine them achieving the way they were playing. Here's Jones off the outside of the left boot that he prefers. Danger. Milne for his 4th. The Saints lead by 17.
Well done to Stephen Milne. He's an opportunist around goal. Had a week in the VFL addressing some of his defensive efforts, but this is why he just has to play, because he's just so clever, knows where the goals are, and invariably he scores. And he's finished with 4.
North Melbourne have not scored for 10 minutes. They need to kick 3 goals in about 6 minutes of game time. Disposals for the quarter, 71 to 37 in favour of St Kilda. Here's Milne again, no mark. Roos need a miracle. Thomas short to half-back, and it's marked by Hale. Saints will be wanting to shut up shop now. Hale to Simpson. Has to play on. Handball's back to Hale. To Thomas, who has been very quiet. And the mark's taken by Urquhart. Finds Ferrito, who plays on well too. Kicks into the pocket, looks for Thompson. No mark. I suspect he might have just had to take that and go back and slot a goal to give them a chance. Still 5 minutes to go.
The way this game's gone, I wouldn't be surprised whether there's not a last bit of play.
King went for the mark. Back of the packets, or St Kilda. Will they concede the rush behind them? Yep. So 5-minute warning. St Kilda by 16. What a turnaround. Saints fans.
As the strains of the Saints go marching in, were echoing around the stadium a little while ago. Not over yet, but Dean Laidley has watched a big lead fade away. McWalter done some good things in the last quarter. Del Santo played a big part. And the Saints are going to slow things down now. They might shut up shop again. A shop that was closed for almost half of the night.
It was out of business.
Oh, gee. It opened up and has done a roaring trade in the last term. 6 goals to 1. Unthinkable, really, the way St Kilda played early, and they're all holding the ball overhead. They are on their way into the 8th tonight, and a defeat here for the Kangaroos is the difference between 7th and 10th position as they reach their mid-season break.
Just dominated this last quarter, St Kilda, haven't they, in every area of the game. There's the live ladder.
Kangas slipping to 10th, St Kilda climbing to 8th, Carlton squeezed out but right in the mix. Hale bringing it down but straight to Montagna. Another goal here and you can say goodnight. Pratt, canny little backhand to Gibson, but they need more than backhanders in defence. They need telling blows up front. Pratt to Power. They've got to advance quickly and directly. Riggio, Wells, Thomas needs acceleration. Obst, Simpson, got to go forward. Someone's got to take a mark. It's all St Kilda in numbers. And it's all St Kilda when it hits the deck. Or is it? Yes, it is. Jones and Harvey. A little careless with the kick. Obst again for the Kangaroos. Well tackled. Simpson again. Lobbing it, hopefully. Saints look to have it covered. Fisher will go for the line. Another behind. Marked by McWalter.
to Ball, who I'm sure is breathing a very big sigh of relief after that controversial goal to Harris for that interchange mistake. Ball kicks along the line to Revolt.
David Hale kick.
And it's out of bounds on the full. But too little too late now for the Roos, who were in complete control of this match and have coughed up the 4 points. Here's Obst. And he's been penalised. Advantage paid. Goulf's away. Gives it to Graham. There's no one inside 50. So Graham just pumps along. He could have handballed to Milne. Might have been able to run about 80 metres anyway. It's inside St Kilda's attacking 50. That's the most important thing for the Saints. Gibson needs some support. Oh, Milne's going to get his 5th. Milne scrubs a left foot kick. It bounces and it just missed. 4 goals to Stephen Milne.
The fairy tale was almost complete.
What sort of bird was that on screen, Michael? You're a man from this part of the world. Did you see it?
There it is.
I don't know.
That's an ibis.
An ibis.
It's an ibis.
Yeah. Sometimes see them at the Gabba in summer during test matches.
Maybe the Gold Coast ibises, Fossey, for you.
Fossey frightened the ball off the Gabba years ago, during the winter at least. Farito. Thompson on the lead. Corey Jones hasn't really laid a glove on the Saints tonight, and he misses here. And it's all gone for the Kangaroos. It's all gone wrong in the last quarter. Their only goal coming from an extraordinary occurrence. Meanwhile, St Kilda have kicked 6 and grabbed the game, to Dean Laidley's horror.
Short kick in finds Dempster. So St Kilda fans rejoice. You're back in the 8.
Full credit to them, Quarters. They've grounded out certain stages of the game. You just couldn't imagine how they were going to score. But the thing they've done well is tackle and chase and harass. And they've been able to get themselves back and really grind out what will be a really, really big victory for them.
Ball marked by Harvey. Revolt. Led from the front. 23 disposals, 14 marks, 9 inside 50s for Nick Revolt.
Well, it's that old thing in terms of the way that you play. It doesn't matter if you're not scoring as long as your opposition isn't also. So in patches through the game, they've just been able to kick that 2 or 3 goals that's just got that run on. And then we mentioned it a little bit through the third quarter about the chance just to be able to get that momentum necessary for a win. Fortunate enough, close enough, got that momentum, and now we'll get the win.
Hale got the tap. Big kick by Simpson. Corey Jones threw it out. Looking for Grant, couldn't find him. Del Santo's played some significant minutes in this last term.
I think he'll be satisfied with his return, Nick Del Santo. 21 disposals, 4 tackles he'll be happy with.
Well, there's a message in this for St Kilda supporters and critics of St Kilda and their coach. Don't write them off too early. They've marched in on the Gold Coast. Tonight, the Saints are in the 8. They've beaten the Kangaroos by 15 points, coming from 5.5 goals down. A great performance from the Saints, perhaps one to turn their season around.